Have you ever considered the current trend in martial arts and fitness, looking at the two major hitters, mixed martial arts and CrossFit? You know, it's an interesting idea, this idea of crisscrossing disciplines. Don't worry, I'm not going to wear my clothes backwards and start rapping poorly. But crisscrossing these paths of ideas, recognizing that no one path offers complete and total expression or exploration of any of these ideas. So it's important to understand that while CrossFit and MMA as entities, as expressions themselves are not complete either, what they're endeavoring to do is noble and inspiring. Now, encapsulating it in sport form, it can be a little troubling, because by encapsulating it in sport form, you lead people into the atmosphere and idea of win rather than improve. It has its place for sure. Winning, dominance games, all that is psychologically important to us. We are social creatures, and as such we have dominance games that we play and niches that we have to fill. It's just the way that it is. It's by no means that we're bound by it. I know several people who have opted out of the dominance game scenario to just do their own thing, and that's fine as well. But the idea is we have a psychological need for establishing and being secure in our place, whether it be socially, individually, or whatever. There's a psychological need to fulfill who am I. Now, sport does this for a lot of people because it allows us to explore the primal dominance games in a relatively safe and enjoyable way. And if you look at sports like CrossFit and MMA, you have the broadest expression of these ideas of fitness and martial arts that we've seen yet, encapsulated under one banner. However, you have to understand that as sports, they also fall under certain rules, and in order to have rules, you have to have certain boundaries and borders and whatnot. You're going to find that there are certain restrictions placed simply for the fact that if somebody has to score it, there has to be a standard. Now, you would think for fitness and martial arts that life would be the standard, that movement capacity, power generation, timing, leverage, those things would be the standard. But it turns out those are extremely broad ideas. And while they are necessary to train, while they are in fact the best things to train, they still have to find certain expressions that can be somewhat uniform for the sports. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as, you know, we've talked about this before, as long as people understand that limits are imposed and those limits are very definite. But what the root of the idea is that we have far too long been specializing in only our strengths. And while that has allowed us a great deal of exploration, it has also taken thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, and literally millions of years of exploration. You know, thousands of years scientifically, but, you know, millions of years of exploration to really get to all this. But now we're finding that cross-disciplinary studies are allowing us to look into these specialized areas with different eyes and even come up with new things and new combinations and new complexities and new details. You know, I always go back to this amazing article that I read. It was in one of the pop media science magazines. I'm not sure which one. But this woman had been invited to look at some dinosaur bones. I believe it was a T-Rex, And she herself was not an archaeologist, she was a biologist of some sort. And she took a cross-section of bone and did an acid wash on it and to do something that they do in biology, to look at it. Freaked the fuck out of the archaeologists. But it turns out she did something that not only they wouldn't have done, but they never could have done without this idea. What she did was, by doing this scientific process, she discovered some of the structure of the cells were rather similar to existing animals who are pregnant. She, in fact, determined the sex of a dinosaur. You know, we have the bones, but the DNA is long gone. All genetic material is completely degraded and dissolved and unusable. And yet, because of the structure of the cells that were remaining after this acid wash thing, she was able to determine the sex of the dinosaur and the fact that it was pregnant. Now, if it hadn't been pregnant, she may not have been able to tell, because there are certain, cellular changes that happen during pregnancy. But it was that very idea of cross-disciplinary study. And then we see, how did paleonutrition come about? It was by studying anthropology, not by studying nutrition. By studying anthropology, we were able to take a deeper look, because it turns out lifestyle habits and nutrition are inextricably linked. And we see this over and over and over again. So understand that it really does take this large group effort, and yes, it takes specialists and it takes generalists. I tend towards generalizing. That's part of who I am. Some of you, I know, are very heavily into the specialization of your one thing, and that is fine. We need you. We absolutely need you to push the limits of your field as far as it can go. And then we need other specialists to cross-check. We need generalists to apply their broad knowledge to it. And together, we will build the next generation of martial arts, of fitness, of archaeology and anthropology. We will build the next generation of really, really cool shit. But only if we spend some time checking each other's work unconventionally and crossing disciplines. It's just food for thought. I'll talk to you guys later. Good journey.